You're watching It's Life Live with your hosts, Juan Lee and Oliver Marcel. Come join us for enriching, enlightening, encouraging, and thought-provoking conversation. Let's go. What's up, everybody? What's good? It's Wednesday.
Yes.
We're back.
Hey, how you doing, Oliver? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I typically Wednesday is a I'm trying to think of a positive word because it's not a negative thing, but Wednesday is a very full day. Wednesdays are typically a day where there's a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
Today, although there were all of those moving parts, they the time normally where I'm done was way earlier today. So I actually had an opportunity to sit down, uh, eke out a piece of content for what my wife and I are doing, and so it's good. It's good. I got a chance to breathe a little quicker than now. Normally, normally when we get on before this, I'm kind of like huffing and puffing and taking deep breaths. So I didn't have to do
I
that today.
got you.
So
I got
all
you.
good.
Well, hey, as usually, if you're here for the first time, we want to welcome you to It's Life Live. My name is Juan Lee, along with Oliver Marcel, and we are sponsored by Clear Journey, which is a nonprofit that supports individuals and families and anyone that's looking to solve challenges, having challenges in life and looking for answers. And what we do is we provide education and resources so that you can navigate life more successfully. And we are happy that you're here with us if you're here for the first time or if you're returning. If you're returning and you're not here for the first time, but if you're here for the first time, hit the like button, hit the subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really would appreciate your support and your help as we continue to navigate this space here called Clear Journey and It's Life Live. Just to give you a little bit about myself, I'm an author, a speaker, and a thought leader, also a mindset coach. And I'm here basically as a result of a book we created. I wrote a book a few years ago called Love Made Simple, and it's a guide to inner peace, contentment, and success. And it's basically the foundation of what we do here at Clear Journey, and that is that we bring the mindset to 8 areas of life, and we give you access and insight and information to how to navigate those 8 areas of life with the right mindset. And what we do is we bring on experts in those areas of life and allow them to help us to learn the things and the tools that are necessary to navigate those areas of life while still maintaining the proper mindset, because it's there where we are able to put things in proper perspective so that we can fully engage all of the various areas of life. And so that's what we do here. And like I said, with tonight's no different. Tonight is going to be, well, I take it back. Tonight is going to be a little bit different because we're going to be talking about two different areas of life and how they come together. It's going to be interesting because we're going to talk about career development and employment, so to speak, and self-improvement and how they come together, how they merge together. And the areas and what we're going to be talking about tonight is going to be interesting because and it's going to show how these two will merge. But there are two areas in life that the attitudes of love come together, and they incorporate all 7 of the attitudes of love into them. And personal development is one of them. The other one is humanity. And tonight we're going to be talking about our self-development and along with employment or career development, business, so to speak. And that if we gather the right attitudes in our self-development, we'll be able to gather the right ones, because there's 4 in the development of business and employment, but there's 7 of them that if you master those 7, you'll cover the ones in the business. And that's going to be very evident, I think, in what our guest is going to be talking about tonight and how they merge together and having the right attitude to be able to do that. So it's going to be a good day, a good night. Our guest is, I don't know. You have anything you want to say before we get to the guest there, Oliver?
No, I'm good, but I'm ready for this conversation.
Let's get
I'm ready,
started right off the bat.
ready to
Then
rock.
let's talk about our guest is, and I'm going to make it simple because I'm going to allow him to fill in the details because he is a business and a life coach. And let's introduce him to us right now. His name is Adam Thomas. Come on, Adam. We appreciate you being here tonight.
Let's bring them up. My mouse is acting funny today. Here we go.
Hello, Adam.
Welcome,
Hey,
good
gentlemen.
sir.
Thank
I'm
you.
I I'm going to allow you to do the introduce yourself at a point where you feel comfortable introducing yourself.
Hey,
Okay.
Juan, Juan, man, you missed the sky blue memo,
He
bro.
didn't get the memo.
You
I
you
mean,
missed
we
the
thought we
memo,
sent it
man.
out, Juan.
Oh, I see. I see.
You
I
didn't get it?
see now. I'm going with my own blue, and it's gonna
Yeah.
overtake everything else,
All
but
right.
that's
I mean,
okay.
since I've gotten to know you, you've seen your whole life to chart your own course. So why would it be any different here tonight, right?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
Absolutely
So
not. So,
yeah. So
Adam,
thank.
introduce yourself. Introduce
Yeah.
yourself. Tell us what you want to know.
All right.
Want us to know?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have a laundry list of things that I could tell you. First, I want to just thank you and Oliver. I appreciate you guys having me on. I really love what you're doing in all aspects. I like what Clear Journey's doing. I love the It's Life podcast. I really appreciate what you're trying to bring to your followers, your listeners. It's important stuff. So the fact that you would look at me that way to bring that back to your audience, I appreciate it. I got a long resume, right? It's 24 years I've been doing this. I started really humble as an employee. I moved my way through some really, really big corporations very, very fast in the financial world. Ended up where I started my own financial planning firm. I have an insurance agency, payroll and benefits company. So a lot in the financial world. I have a few other legs that are attached to that. And then I'm an advisor to United States Congress for the Small Business Advisory Committee. So I do that, and then I'm on a lobbyist group where I'm the vice chairman, and we help to write and advise the lawmakers on what is advantageous and disadvantageous in the state of New York. So I deal with the senators and assemblymen to really give them that advice. I'm constantly in battles with Department of Financial Services, and then I sit on a few different boards of corporations, and all of that led me to helping people over and over and over again. Right, my whole career was about helping people to really come to a point where they can have the confidence and the clarity to make better decisions. That's really what the genesis of everything has been, which led me to really saying, all right, I'm helping all these business owners in my financial planning practice, but I could only get them so far. And they kept asking me for advice. And I said, all right, I'll help you out. I'll give you business advice. So we changed from planning to business advising. And it was great. But again, I only got them so far. And there was just this missing piece. And it was more about the mindset. I could tactically help them. I can problem solve. I can give them all the fundamentals of what has to go. We could look at a spreadsheet. But when it came to that mindset side, I didn't have a discipline in that. So I found my partner, Tom, who he is a physician's assistant. He taught psychiatry and psychology at a state university in New York for 10 years. He sat on the C-suite of a major medical organization in Manhattan. And me and him joined together, and we started helping business owners to truly have a harmony with their business and their life. And what we found is I'm blessed enough that I'm a young man, I'm 45 years old, that I really have everything anybody on planet Earth could desire. Is I have that harmony. I get to spend time with my children. Right before this, I sat down to dinner with my whole family, and we do that almost every single night, unless there's a baseball game. And the idea is we can have wealth in all aspects of our lives, right? We can have very successful businesses. We can have very successful lives. We can have successful marriages and be successful parents and be a good steward to our community. It doesn't have to give up one thing to get the other thing. And that's what I found that we wanted to do and really supply for the public. And we've been lucky enough that some people have trusted in us over the last 2.5 years that we built that business. And we've had tremendous success in all aspects. And I think that's how you and I found each other. But that's my true passion. I'm also lucky all my other businesses, I have really great teams that can run that. So I don't have to be there all day long. So you have to be able to trust people to kind of lift you up of where you got to be. But that's really hard too. So that's a little bit of my background. I've authored 3 books. I have a weekly podcast. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but as far as where we go today, I think that should help the audience know where I'm coming from with what we're going to talk about today.
Nice.
I look,
Excellent.
that was the content, that was the conduit right there for me, to be honest with you. Everything that you said there were just so spot on with what we do here at Clear Journey, because there's the holistic approach of being able to do exactly what you're talking about, and that's, living that life of harmony, and that's something that you and Oliver and I know that that's something that we do. We have a webinar series that we do here called Harmony at Home, and that's one of the pillars that we do periodically, once or twice a year. We have that webinar, and it's so that people can begin to find the value in that harmony, instead of running and chasing. There's this saying that we're gonna grind. It's at a cost that I don't know if you're willing to pay at the end of the day. But if we can set some harmony there, we can find some peace. And that's another word that's very, very resonates with me, because I think that's what we're all looking for. So Oliver, where do you want to kick it off with the questions, or should I?
Go ahead. Go ahead. You can kick it off. I love, just from what you're saying, Adam, man, I love the space that you're in. And I think that that space, um, the information, the knowledge, the education that comes from the experience that you have, I think is pertinent to where many of us find ourselves in life, and is paramount to our success in those areas, because many people are now looking for these things, and are now more cognizant of it, have been exposed to certain things that they didn't know before, information they didn't have before, things they didn't realize or recognize were important before. So I'm looking forward to what you share. So yeah, go ahead, Juan, kick it off.
Hey, okay. Well, look, as relates to what we're trying to do, and that's where we're going to start this off with, is just being able to find, what does success look like when you're talking about business and personal life? What's your thought about what does success look like?
Yeah, so it's a funny word, right? And I appreciate what you said there, Oliver, about this being paramount. It truly is. Like, if you can't have a harmony with all things, then why are we doing that thing? And that's really where success stems from, is that you have to have freedom and success. And the only way, and I don't mean just in business, right? In your marriage, right? And if you're going to go play sports, in that, you got to have freedom and success, right? This is the necessity of life, and anything that you're going to do. The way that we achieve that, and what that means to me, okay, and what I really try to empower all of our clients and members of my community that I have to gain, is the ability to align their purpose with their actions. And that's what happens, is a lot of times you're going down someone else's path, trying to live someone else's success, and it's not yours, because you didn't take even a moment for yourself to sit back and just say, wait a minute, what's my purpose? And can I take the action that I'm going to do right now, tomorrow morning, the next week, the next year, and align it to that, to live that out? And it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter accolades you get on the wall. It doesn't matter trophies you're given. It matters is, are you doing what you're meant for? And that comes in business, and that comes in life. And we only get one of these, as far as I can tell right now. I don't know. Hopefully we move on. There's more, but I don't know yet. I have no proof and evidence of that. But I know I'm here right now. So if I'm going to be here right now, if you guys are going to be here right now, then why aren't we truly taking every single action and making sure we're moving the ball forward on the purpose that we're here? So when I look at success, that's what it has to be. It's really immeasurable, except for you inside.
That's you've knocked out, you've touched on a whole lot of things, because what we talk about here is fulfillment, and fulfillment comes from the inside, and how you get that balance, that harmony is it starts on the inside, and it's manifested on the outside in our business, in our careers, in what we do. And so what you just said just resonates with what we talk about here. Um, is anything we want to follow with that, Oliver?
No, I just like how you put that, because that word success is very um it has some varied connotations, right? And often many of us are exposed to a very one-dimensional definition of success, and not a more holistic or relative, even if you will,
Yeah.
definition of success, because what's success to you may not be the same to me. However, there is an underlying thread, which you talked about, which allows for you some level of freedom, some level of harmony, being able to live out your purpose. So I'm glad that that you said it the way you did. So for those of you who are watching now, watching the replay, you don't necessarily have to subscribe to someone else's version of success. However, there are some things that are at the bedrock of what makes you successful, and they aren't always what we think they are.
Right. And the key,
Well,
let me add something to that, is that if you don't define it for yourself and you let somebody else define it for you, okay, or you live up to what societal's versions of success are, it has no meaning to you and you will never achieve it. Right? If you're just playing someone else's game, you don't really care. You don't own it. There's no ownership of it. So you're not going to ever achieve that pinnacle, and you will just chase it and chase it and chase it. And you'll never get there because it did not matter, and that was not what you were intended to be here for. It was not your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the relevancy of fulfillment. And I
Mm-hmm.
think so many people fail to realize purpose is in line with fulfillment. And without purpose, you can't identify fulfillment. And fulfillment is only going to be relevant to your purpose. It's only going to be relevant to your purpose. And it's to be compared to no one else, nothing else. And that's why when you said it doesn't matter how much you make, all the accolades you get, it doesn't matter, because my fulfillment, only person that can get my fulfillment is me. The saying sometimes it says what God has for me is for me. Nobody can get it, even if it doesn't appear at this moment, at this time. Nobody else can get it because it's for me. And so when you said success and you put it in that category, see, we allow ourselves to be handcuffed to what society has deemed as being successful. And that's why it's interesting. I mean, I put the question to you because I think that's at the core of this interlocking, this connection between business and personal development, is because you get to define it. You get to determine what it looks like, who it is, and why it's relevant, because it brings you fulfillment. And so that was very well put, and I thank you for allowing that, for sharing that with us. Um, Here's the part where we're going to get into the connection. Improvement of self. How does self improvement helps you develop a successful business? How does that align with your ability to be able to grow your business, establish your business? Where's the connections there?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's good that you're talking about it, because not enough people are, realistically. And there's a lot success really, a lot of new business owners or people that are looking at old ways of doing it, because we're in new times. As Oliver said before, there's so much more information here now. We're very lucky to have all this information, but it's filtering through it and then making our own decisions based on the information we have, instead of just someone else deciding. And sometimes your parents have given it to you, or your university has given it to you, or the book you read last week gave it to you, right? But you got to choose for yourself. So that's self-development, all those things, right? You're developing it. Okay, but you cannot have this success if you're not developing yourself, right? Because really, when you're trying to have success, in my opinion, the only way you can have success is be of service to others. Okay. You have to have a service mindset, because if you're serving others, then you're helping them. And in return, that just basically comes back to you. Whether you're, spiritual or you're religious or you don't believe you're atheist. It doesn't matter. It means when you give, you receive. Okay. And when you're learning, what you are doing is gaining the ability to give more to somebody else. Well, it doesn't just come from self-development of education and information. It comes from your health, right? You must take care of your health. And I don't just mean, do you got biceps and stuff? That's not what I mean. And that's important, but you got to take care of your mental health.
Mhm.
You can't be a successful business owner, or even if you're not a business owner and you're an employee, you can't be a successful operator of your revenue generation if you're
Mhm.
not a successful leader. And my cousin, who was a commanding officer of the USS Arkansas, he just got decommissioned or dethroned. He has a more technical term. But he said something when he was having his change. I'm sorry, Adam. His name is Adam too. If you're listening, I apologize.
It's a change of command. It was a
Thank you
command
very much.
change of command.
Yes, Adam. Sorry, pal, if you're listening. When he had his change of command, the incoming sailors, he said, "Listen, I just want to let you know something. You don't need to be in command to lead."
Mhm.
Boom! Like amazing.
Mm.
And if you don't own your business, you could still lead, my friend.
Mhm.
Okay. But if you're not going to be a good operator and producer, you're not going to be a good leader. And if you're not going to be a good leader, how can you be a good person? And the way this comes out is you must become a good person first, so you could be a good leader second. And then you can operate at the scale of whatever your definition of success is. So how important is it? It's everything, Juan. If you
Mhm.
don't develop yourself, you're not developing anything. You can't help anybody. So
Yeah.
it has to be the primary for your foundation of where you're going to start. Because this is it, man. This is all I get. This is it. Like I can't go buy another one. This is
No,
it.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Um, and that, with that being said, then, is there any uh how does setting goals, how does setting and reaching goals matter to both the personal life and your business?
All right. So that's an interesting one, right? Because everybody sets goals. So first of all, let me define a little difference between, because a lot of people dream, right? Most people dream like, oh,
Mhm.
one day I'm gonna have, one day I'm gonna do, and that's
Mhm.
nice. It's nice to dream, and I think dreams are healthy, and you should do it, right? If you have a vision board, or you're just gonna talk to your friends and BS, or you're hanging out on the weekend, whatever, you can dream, but you got to have goals, right? And what the difference between a dream and a goal is a goal is just a dream with a plan attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can turn any dream into a goal if you say, here's how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it, why I'm going to do it, where I'm going to do it. If you just answer those questions, now it's a goal.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But having a goal it means nothing. It just means you wrote down on paper or said out loud, here's the thing I'm going to do. So having these goals, setting these goals, yeah, they're a piece. You got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's all about hard work. Okay. If you're going to take anything away from listening to this today, there's no special sauce. There's no magic bullet. There's no magic wand. There's none of it. There's none of it. You just got to do the work. Okay. In whatever thing it is you're going to do in life, in business, in your relationships, in society, it's just doing the work. So you can set all the goals you want. But if you're not willing, that's the key. If you're not willing to do the work it takes to get to the end of that goal, then don't set it at all.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important too, because we're in we're in the midst of a societal phenomenon, if you will, where you know we just want stuff ready made. We want it prepackaged. We want to be able to step into something that's tailor made, and it doesn't happen that way. And the work is not always going to be um, easy. It may take some effort. It may take some failing forward. It may take some restructuring. It may take going back to the drawing board and saying, hey, this is what I had mapped out before, but maybe we need to tweak. And recognizing, understanding, and a key word you said, being willing to work through that process is very important.
Yeah, Mike Tyson has a great quote. I don't know if you gentlemen know it, but he said, and I have it on a T-shirt that I wear. I play fantasy football every year, and I have a group of guys. It's our 22nd year in the league. That's how close we are together.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a beautiful trophy, but there's a lot of smack talk going on, right?
Yeah.
So I wear this shirt of Mike Tyson every fantasy football, and it says everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Because all these guys talk smack about my fantasy football. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, I'll see you at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the Super Bowl when I'm holding the trophy, my friend.
Yeah.
And that's the same in life. Is these goals that we set? Okay, they're a plan. Okay, it's a plan. You're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to have this. I'm going to achieve that. Okay, and when we set that out and we do it, it never goes according to plan. Ever, never. What a plan and a goal is just a framework of how you're going to direct your energy and time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you can, that's why I said the willing part, Oliver. It's like if you're willing to put the effort and energy in, you don't know where you will be in the next 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You have an idea of the path you're taking, but you're going to take a little left, a little right. There's going to be obstacles you got to jump over. There's going to be really exciting things that say I could do this quicker. And you're going to find dead ends. You're like, I got to turn around and go the other way. But that's the point of this is like, it's the effort and energy and the grit to go through this.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely the idea of the perfect journey, so to speak. It's going to have ups and downs, and it's going to have obstacles in it. But then, in light of that, though, what do you do when you get confronted with challenges, or what we would call when we get knocked down? What are some of the things, advice maybe you can give people that have, we got the goal, we're on the journey, we get hit in the mouth, like you said, you get hit in the mouth, and you got to get up off the mat.
Mm-hmm.
What is some advice or suggestions to help you get over those hits in the mouth?
Yeah. So, I took my son skiing. He's 12. I took him skiing when he was 6, and he was very, very scared. Okay. He's like, it's a brand new thing. It's a giant hill. He's like, oh my gosh, and I'm not like this great skier or anything. So I put him in lessons. I met him, comes down. He's like, all right, you're going to come up on this hill with daddy. He's like, okay, but I don't want to fall. I said, oh, all right. So we start skiing down. I pushed him. He fell. How was that, Tyler? That was fun. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Get back up. Let's do it again. We're so fearful of these obstacles and these challenges that come in our face until we go through them and deal with them. And we realize that's what made us who we are. That's what built us. It's the adversity, those challenges that allow you to be better at something. If you look at baseball, I don't know if you guys follow baseball, but if you want to make it as a Hall of Fame member, your batting average needs to be 300. Okay, that's kind of what it is, 300. Well, what that means is they failed 70% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I've been so successful in everything that I do is just I'm willing to fail more than my competitors. Okay, I'm not this super successful guy. I fail probably more than every single other person that I advise. They put me on this pedestal because I have a lot of successes, but they came amongst more failures. Right? There's a guy, Dave Ramsey, and I don't know whether you subscribe to his philosophies or anything else.
Really? Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with everything he says, but every once in a while he says some smart stuff. And
Yes.
I like some. And he has a great saying, and I just want to credit him because it really is wonderful, and he should get the credit. And I hope it's his, and he didn't steal it from someone else because he never credited anybody. And what he says is, success is standing on top of a pile of your mistakes instead of lying underneath them.
Wow. Absolutely.
And that's what this adversity is. There's no choice. Get up, move on, do it again. You're supposed to fail. And if you can go into it like, hey, I'm kind of supposed to fail, especially in the beginning, in the beginning, you're supposed to suck at this, whatever it is you're going to do. Like, that's how we learn and get better. And I'll add one more thing to this. When you suck at it, it's going to feel very uncomfortable. Okay. And that's the part that people don't want to get back in because it felt uncomfortable. Even though I pushed my son and he fell and whatever else, he had padding, he was good. But most people, if they fell, would feel uncomfortable. I hurt a little bit. Well, if you look at what comfort is that I already know how to do this thing, right? When you're uncomfortable, that means you're learning something. Okay. So if you start looking at uncomfort as I am gaining knowledge, think about anything you're uncomfortable with. even physically. If you go to the gym and work out and you're uncomfortable doing bicep curls, why? It's because your body is learning, oh man, this crazy guy wants to, he wants to do curls of 205. And now I better go put more muscle on there so he could do it next time. Every uncomfort we have is learning. So that's the thing about adversity and getting back up is you have to start framing it. You have to change the mindset to what is it really? What's the purpose of it? What's the intention of it? And what will I do with it?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you said a key word there too, because and it's mindset. All that you're speaking about is falls under the umbrella of perspective, right? And often we are not taught that failure and discomfort is actually a part of the process and not something that sits outside of the process. It's actually part of this. So if you're creating a path, part of this path is going to include these elements, and that those are some of the elements, and we're not always taught that. And so when we go to create this path and we buck up against some level of discomfort or a failure, we feel like the path is now damaged because this outside entity has now come in and created some level of angst and has thrown us off course. But no, that's an ingredient,
yeah.
right? It's like baking a cake. Like the cake needs these other ingredients. Like eggs don't sit over here and all the other ingredients are over here. No, that's part of it. Yeah, you might not want to, well, at least some of us might not want to just gulp down the eggs by itself. Like nobody just wants to fail, right? But it's a component that makes the cake what it is. And we're not often taught that. So I love that you're speaking to a mindset shift and an expansion of perspective that allows us to embrace this now. Because now the difference is when I am uncomfortable and when I have gone through some level of failure, what I'm doing now is looking for the stepping stone. I'm looking for the lesson. I'm looking for the next move that comes out of that, as opposed to what you just said with the Dave Ramsey quote, laying down underneath of it.
Yeah, you hit
Yeah.
the nail on the head there, Oliver. It's that when you start looking for that stepping stone, you're like, oh, so it's around here somewhere because I just went through that. Good observation, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that you
It
took that away from me.
it's the conclusion of what we talk about, and oftentimes we talk about a tribute. President Obama was talking about a teachable moment. It's that uncomfortable. It's that moment where things don't go well, and you look for some value in that moment.
Mhm.
And that's the mindset shift that you're talking about. That's the perspective that we're talking about. It's not that it's unusual, but it's unfamiliar, and that's what brings it the value of being able to say, okay, now this is my time to learn something that I didn't already know, something new. So with that being said, how important, in your opinion, Adam, is it to be able to talk and listen effectively to gain more, um, a better life, a better business? How valuable is it learning? Valuable is it learning and how to listen and to talk um, to others help you in your life, business, and professionally and personally?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I guess it would come down to what's that purpose that you chose? What's the goal that you chose for yourself, right? I mean, if you said I want to be a public speaker and do and write a book, it's kind of important, right? But if you said I want to be a systems analyst at Google and sit behind a computer and just, do that stuff, how important really is it? What is important to know is that it's a necessity. Communication is a necessity, but you don't have to be the one to communicate, but you have to understand that it needs to get done. You don't have to be the one doing it. You don't have to actually listen. You don't have to actually speak, but you may need someone else to do that for you or someplace else to do that for you. So then you can read it, okay, and then understand what's next. So a lot of times people want to do absolutely everything, and they want to gain all these skill sets, and they want to be like the perfect idea of whatever it is. And actually, I feel I'm a pretty decent public speaker. I think listening is the majority of my job and most of my businesses that I own. So I've acquired that skill. I don't know if I was born with it. I've gone through different courses and things to become better at it. I've read books about it. I've done all that, but that's because I love it, because I truly believe it's my purpose. I believe that my purpose is to help other people find their purpose and then align their actions to it. That's just what I came to an understanding of what I was put here for. Okay. And maybe this is this season of my life. Maybe I'll have another purpose in another 10 years. I don't know, but I'm accepting the one I have now. But I don't need to understand how to be a systems analyst right now. Right. I have people who do that for me. Okay. So you can delegate those things. You can hire for those things, right? You can get support. You can collaborate with people to do those things. So it's only important if it's important to you.
To be able to listen and to be able to talk to others. Yeah, I think that's very important, though. I mean, because I think we're meant to connect to one another. And that's the way in which we do it, is through verbally speaking, connecting, allowing ourselves to be able to articulate who we are to the other person, so that they know that they connect just as well as we know that they connect to us. And that's that process of being able to learn that skill set so that that can happen.
So let me give you a little tweak on it then. Those two skill sets might not be that important, but what is super important is your ability to absorb, retain, and utilize information. Okay. That's a necessity in everything we do, but it doesn't have to go through the vehicle of speaking and listening, right? There's many other ways to do that, but you have to absorb, retain, and utilize information to do anything in life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just like we're saying before, when you fail, you're going to get a lesson. If you don't absorb that lesson, you know what you're going to do?
Repeat it.
Make the same mistake over and over again. So you gotta have knowledge, but it doesn't necessarily, the vessel or the vehicle to get that knowledge doesn't necessarily need to be your eyes or your mouth.
Okay.
I mean, you ever put your hand on a stove?
Yeah, that'll teach you a lesson.
Did you do it a second time?
That'll teach you a lesson.
No listening, no speaking.
Yeah.
There's more to it. Yeah.
Good stuff. I want to backpedal a little bit. There's a word that you used a few times, and it's purpose. And often, I've been in many circles where the word purpose is there's an attempt to define it, and there's an attempt to create some level of formula for individuals who are seeking it.
Yeah.
And how do I identify and how do I recognize? What would you say to the person who's like, listen, what's purpose? How do I identify it? How do I know what mine is?
Yep. Yeah, good question. And it's that word is used it's thrown around a little bit too much sometimes. And I feel that I take very good care of that word, because it literally, like I said, that's my mission. And there's really two choices with purpose. It's either you know it or you make it. You don't find purpose. If you're out there looking for it, you'll pass it right by. Okay. You either know it and it's just an instinct. You're like, this is my thing. This is what I put it here for. Now, you may be scared. Can we curse on this podcast or no?
Yeah.
I'll be respectful.
It's open. It's open if it's an expression of yourself.
I always just like to check.
Be yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Most of us are just scared shitless. Okay. To go ahead and do what we know our purpose is, because there's a lot of consequences that come with that. Someone's going to say you shouldn't do this. Maybe I can't do it. Maybe I won't make enough money to provide the life that I told my wife, and there's all these things that it's like, oh, so you may know it and you may be scared to do it. That's one way. If you go out there looking for it, like I said, you won't find it. So you have to make it. You have to make what your purpose is. And the only way you can do that, Oliver, is by going and doing things. Okay. You have to do things over and over and over and try different angles and do these different things, but not with the intention of finding my purpose. Like I said earlier, it's a service mindset. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's just go do the things and find out it usually comes from one of these things, something I'm really, really good at or something I'm extremely passionate at, right? I'm passionate about it or I'm really good at it. That typically you'll lean into that more. Like, I'm pretty good at this. I'm gonna wake up and do it again tomorrow. It's easy to do something that you're really good at. It's easy to do something you love. There's a very few lucky people in the world that are really good at the thing that they love. Very few. So if you're out there searching for that, do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life. What happens is you end up loving the thing you're good at, and you do that for the rest of your life. The successful people who say, do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life, 30 years ago, they didn't love it. They found their way to love it. It became their purpose because they realized they're serving a greater good and they're producing something that's bigger than them. So I find that word gets thrown around, like I said, and it's like, don't try to look for it. And if you don't know it, just go start taking action. It will present itself to you. Just don't be stupid enough to pass it by. Be open, right? Be aware. Okay, you said something before about talking and listening. And I always have this problem with language with people, and it's, you might hear something, but did you listen to it? Right? It's those two things. And look, I don't know about you guys, but I got this voice, these two people to talk in my head all the time, right? It's this inner dialogue that most human beings have. It's one guy just, come on, go do that. And the other guy's like, oh man, we can't do that. Not today. And, well, come on, man, we can do it. Let's go do it. We have this conversation, most human beings. But what happens is we hear it, but we don't listen to it, right? We don't take the action. And that's really where I think this all stems from is, if you don't know your purpose, don't go looking for it. Start taking more and more action. Be aware, be listening, and say, that I think that might be it. And if you think that might be it, go try a little more. Because there will come a point when you just know it. Okay. And you might be 90 years old, and that's okay. Because guess what you did? Took action the whole way along. Okay. And that's really what we're here for, is take more action.
Yeah. Purpose is, I think, the thing that brings clarity to our journey. And once either you find it or you know it, like you said, or you look for it. And those are the things that I think I use it a little bit of a different terminology as it relates to purpose. As it relates to purposes, we have a purpose that's collectively, and then our uniqueness is the one that you refer to as finding your purpose. Finding is that place where you develop yourself to the point where you get to that point where you love something or you do it very well. And you know that because you've developed yourself, you know yourself in a manner in which you're able to be excited about giving it. And that's where it comes back to that service part mindset. So yeah, that's also very, very practical and very important. Here's one. How do your values and what you think is right guides the choices that you make in both your personal and your business?
That's a loaded question, Juan. I mean, that's a good one, my friend.
Yeah.
Wow,
your values.
Wow, that's a good one. So I guess first you got to start with, do you have them, right? Do you have values? Okay. So it's like, and I wrote a book, The Atomic Game Changer. Oh, it's over that, Atomic Game Changer. And that in there, we have the 9 principles, right? That's the whole book, is these 9 principles. It's more of a desk reference. You don't really read it from cover to cover. It's how do I reinforce these principles, standards, values, morals, whatever you want to call them, right? It's what do I believe in and how I'm going to carry myself, right? Or the way I'm going to do the things that I do if we're taking those actions, like we said before. So I think first you have to set them, right? And here's the key with values is when you set them, it's got to be a line in the sand that you never cross, right? It has to be a non-negotiable. It's like, here it is. I do not cross that for anybody, anything, no matter what. People say there's a price for everybody for everything. Nuh-uh, not with your values. Like it's right here, and you're not going to cross that, okay? And you can't let anybody else tell you, but it's okay to cross that. No, these are your values, not somebody else's. So, I mean, that's the best way I think I can answer it, Juan.
Well, I mean, but you're absolutely right, because the first thing it is about finding them, understanding what makes them your values. Because I think that's probably a very difficult thing for many people as it pertains to purpose, because they'll do anything to reach that purpose at the compromising of their values.
Mhm.
And therein lies when you don't realize that your values are the thing that's going to sustain you in whatever you attain. Because if you don't have value, it's the old adage, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
I like
and
that.
and so, well, it's not original. So
Mhm.
so my point being is that something has to sustain it. And when we talk about those values, they're the things that undergird your choices,
Mhm.
because they're going to begin to undergird what makes sense. And that thing that you said, nobody, I'm not going to step across this line. It's that line in the sand that I don't care what the offer is. I'm not. I can't cross that. I can't cross that line.
So let's take it a little bit further on this, if you don't mind, if you have time.
Go right
So,
ahead.
we talked about why they're important and how to do, but what about how do you develop them, right?
Mm. Mhm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because look, I mean, it's great. Oh, I have a value, and this is I don't cross the line. That's nice. But what about if you're like, oh, I don't even know what my values are, right? So obviously, we get influenced by parents and society and all these different things, and that's that's going to set some of the stage. But here's something I'll tell anybody who's listening or watching is you have to listen to your feelings. You have to use your feelings and your emotions as advisors. Okay. Every emotion we have is literally a protection. It's an advisor to tell you, like, you need to change course, you need to do something or understand what you got that brought you this. That's what all emotion is. So if you just feel like this ain't right, you're probably right.
Mhm.
Like, this don't feel right. Yeah. Yeah. But if you glaze over that feeling and just like, but I'll do it anyway because the money's real good. Or I'll do it anyway because, she's really cute. Or I'll do it anyway because, it's going to be faster.
Mhm.
You start doing that, you compromise what your feelings were telling you, and they won't talk to you anymore. You'll be
Mhm.
numb. And that's not what we want to be. So you really have to, like, man, we're given six senses. I know everybody says five, we're given six. And that sixth one is that gut feeling. Like, we literally have it. Whatever you want to call it, we
Mhm.
have it. And
Mhm.
when you just know something, you're usually right. The reason you're right is because that's your internal value. That's your line in the sand. I don't know where it came. I can't tell you where it came from, but you got to listen to it.
That sounds good. That's really good. That's really good.
Mhm.
I'm working on those steps to creating your values, and you've hit a lot of those things. You talk about influences. You talk about our culture. You're talking about the things that we've allowed to affect the way in which we look and view circumstances and situations. And they have, as a result, build up that line in the sand, because we us some kind of a way or another, we've aligned or identified with those things, and they have allowed us to build those values. So yeah, that's really important, because like you said, like we said, those are going to be the foundations to our choices.
Mm-hmm.
Another question is that what can we do to better um, things that we need to do? What can we do? Let me just read those. What are some of the things that we can do to be better at getting things done while on this journey, whether it's in our business or in our personal life? What are some of the little things that we can do to get things done better? Some
Okay.
tools, some little nuggets.
All right. What are some of the things that we could do to do things better? All right. So I'm going to go from a business aspect first.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So in business, the number way we do things better is learn what we're not good at. Okay. So you got to be really truthful with yourself and say, I'm not good at this thing. Right. In business, that's where you hire people. Okay. So it's very, very simple. Like, I'm not good at this. You don't need to get better, but it needs to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's like, I'm going to hire somebody as long as you have the money. Okay. There's a great saying. if you have money, you don't have problems, my friend. Okay, so if you got, it's
That
unfortunately, it's true.
that's the book we talked about yesterday.
Oh, is that from that book too? Yeah. If you got money, you don't
Absolutely.
got problems. Yeah.
It's from the book.
I thought it was from Drucker, but okay. But yeah, if you got money, you don't have problems, right? Because what that means is like, okay, I can go pay somebody else to solve this problem for me. Okay, so that's the main thing. Is like, all right, it's got to be done. I'm going to give it to you. Now, you can do that in a family structure too. Okay, there's a great, I don't know if she's a psychologist, life coach, something, Brene Brown, and she does a great thing with her husband, where it's like, hey man, I can only bring 20% to the marriage tonight. You got to bring the other 80%. Right? It's not a 50-50 partnership. I have multiple partnerships and not one of us bring 50-50. Some of those I own 50-50, but I may give 90 and they give 10, and next month they may give 70 and I give 20, 30. So that happens. But the idea is, the way we get better is by surrounding ourselves with better. Okay, you don't have to acquire every single skill all the time, but it takes people to do anything, right? It takes those people. And there's a lot of stuff going around right now with this solopreneur. Okay, I'm a solopreneur, and it's like a badge that they wear. I'm a solopreneur. Well, why? I don't get why they're so proud of it. Like, why you want to do this all alone, my friend? Like, don't you want some companionship? Don't you want some, a way to move forward together? So that's the first thing, is like, you can find other people to do these things. You can find support all around you. Yeah, some you got to pay for, some you got to barter with, some you got to give back, and whatever it may be. But that, I think we have to look at it from that way. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Did I miss something on that question? Because I feel like
no, because you got to the heart of it. And I think the issue is that in what you're saying is that we have to recognize that it's okay to ask for help.
Okay.
To ask for help, whether you can buy it or you can acknowledge the fact that you need it so that you can buy it. And in personal lives, that's exactly what we have to do, is to recognize that it's okay to reach out for a hand. We don't have to pay for it, but the fact of the matter is that there's somebody else's fulfillment in our ability to need their skill, their ability. And I'll be honest with you, Adam. Yesterday, I saw that in you. I saw what you have is something that I need. And so it was so very refreshing to be able to know that there was someone that had what I needed. And all I had to do was to ask. All I had to do is say, hey, I need that help.
Yeah,
I need that help. And I think so many of us don't either want to or acknowledge the fact that we need it.
Yeah, it's hard, right? It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to put your hand out. I mean, look, I got a big ego too sometimes. I've been there and like a little ignorant and like, no, I got it. Got all,
but you spoke to the fact, who wants to be a soulpreneur?
Yeah,
who wants to be a soulpreneur?
Let's talk about, you said the right thing is, you have to be in a position to be able to ask, and there's no way to really get in that position. You're either in it or you're not, right? It's like there's a time and place for everything, and there's, sometimes you got to go through some lessons, and you may need, like we said before, to fail even more until you're ready to ask for that help. And there's some really dumb people on this planet, really dumb, and they never ask, but they don't know. But they don't know, they're like, okay, everything's fine. That's how dumb they are. But then there's some really smart people that you can't believe. Like, what are you doing? And sometimes if you look at them, whether you have a profession, an expertise, an experience in doing this, and you look at them and they need help, here's what I'm going to tell you. I come from a lot of military family, and there's times I look at the military and they need help and they don't want to know it. They don't want to say it. They don't want it. And sometimes you got to step up and do it for them. You got to say, look, I got you. Here's what we're going to do. Because sometimes it takes that. So if you look at someone and they need help, don't let them stand out there on their own, man.
That's awesome, right? Because that speaks to our that's our duty as it relates to how we navigate life, and how and what we give to humanity, right? It's everybody, we want to grow in a way that allows us to recognize our ability to need help and to be forthcoming, be vulnerable enough to be forthcoming, right? The reality is everybody's not going to get there at the same time, right? So if I recognize that somebody needs help, am I just going to let them flounder because they haven't grown to the space where they can be vulnerable enough, or am I going to kick in? I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. That's a great challenge to those of you who are watching or watching the replay. That listen, you just as much as we tout that XYZ person needs to own the responsibility of developing in a way that causes them to be vulnerable enough, we need to own the responsibility that causes us to reach out.
Well said.
And to piggyback on that, and here's the, and I don't mean to push back, but just the caveat there, and that is that it goes back to that knowing, developing, and being able to give. See, if you're intimidated by who you are, you won't be able to look over and see somebody else's need. You won't be able to. It's because you are fulfilled in yourself that you can look over and not only be willing, not only see, but be willing to give what they need or to be able to do what they need. And so that's why it's so important to be able to solely understand who you are first, develop yourself so that you can do that. We can look over and see, oh, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I've managed to I'm not going to say master, but I'm very good at being able to see people and they need and when they have a need. And the reason being is because I'm clear with who I am. I'm clear with who I am. So now I can see how I can serve someone else, and I can identify that need that it's in someone else. So
You know what
you
that
know
is?
where
You know what that is,
huh?
Juan?
What's that?
So there's a difference between noise and signal. Okay, so we all live in a very noisy world, right? I'm sure you guys are old enough like me to remember when we had to turn the dial to tune into a radio station, right? And you hear, and then you hear the music.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. That's what this life is, man. There's a lot of noise until you and we and us can tune into that signal. And that's what you said about the clarity is when you tune into that signal, it's beautiful music.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's where you get to at a point by being open, by asking for help, by working hard, right? By knowing your values and having a purpose. And that's what it is. It's beautiful music. It's harmony.
Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's so very true. And to be able to appreciate that you did to get to that harmony is through all of that noise.
Mm-hmm.
Is to navigate that noise. That's a beautiful thing. That's a very beautiful thing there. So you got another follow-up because we're running right up against the end of the hour.
No, I think I think what you just said, Adam. I think that's a great place to land the plane, man. That's when you can tune into that signal, um, all of this falls into place, right? Everything that we've talked about from the very beginning, your ability to sift through the noise to lock into that signal is key to the harmony that is the thread uh, amongst everything that you've talked about tonight. So I think that's a
Yeah.
great place to land. I have nothing else to say.
So Adam, I'll give you the last minute to share with us anything that you would like to share with us. I know we had talked about some stuff last night. If you want to, the floor is yours. Did Adam just freeze on us?
Yep, he's
Yeah,
back.
I froze there for a second. I don't know what happened, but I think I'm back.
Yep, you're
Yeah,
back.
you're back. You're back. Did you hear me?
I heard you.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah. So I mean, look, like I said in the beginning, man, I'm a very blessed man. I work very hard at it, but I'm very lucky to be where I am, right? And luck is when opportunity meets preparation. That's all it really is. I think who said it? One of the philosophers said it. One of the Stoics said
Mm-hmm.
it. Marcus Aurelius. I don't know which one it was, but it's really, really true, right? And
Absolutely.
that's where I've arrived at. I'm very, very, very lucky, and you can be too, right? It just takes a little bit of preparation, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of work, right? And really be ready for when it just presents itself to you. And here it is. So listen, you can find me pretty much anywhere. Go to Atomic Business Coaching. I'm all over the place. You can find me everywhere. So don't worry about that. But what I want to say, I want to use this moment for this is what if you're listening to it, if you lasted till the end, because a lot of people may have just shut off, but if you're still here, it matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that means what Juan and Oliver are doing matters to you. That means what It's Life matters to you. It's Clear Journey matter. All this stuff matters to you. So you gotta pass this on to somebody else. You gotta follow this. You gotta subscribe. You gotta engage. You gotta tell them. Tell Juan and Oliver what you think about it. That's how these podcasts survive. That's how they thrive. Is you being a part of it. I mean, look, Juan spent time with me yesterday getting to know me. Oliver and Juan have been here all day today. It's a lot of effort and energy and time and money. And if you're getting value out of this, I would say, listen, just at a bare minimum, give them a like, give them a comment, give them a follow, hit the subscribe button, and share this with someone else that you think may needs to hear it. So that's the way I would end this, my friend. I don't need anything, but I'm lucky to take it and have it and work with other people. So thank you, but thank both of you gentlemen for having me here. This was really fun. I don't usually get an opportunity to really think it out while I'm here talking. So it was fun.
Hey, I
Good stuff.
appreciate you.
We appreciate you. And for those of you that are watching or watching the replay, I believe I put the correct website down below. If you want to reach out and connect with Adam, you should reach out and connect. Just based
Yeah.
on what you heard today, you can hear that there's a wealth of knowledge and guidance and direction. And if you need guidance and direction, like we all do, uh, go there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to thank you, Adam. I really appreciate it. And let's not be clear. I will be reaching out to you because I think you and I have a lot of synergy, and also you have a wealth of knowledge that I'm going to tap into for myself and for Clear Journeys at benefit. And so I can't thank you enough for spending a time with us. I appreciate it so very much. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up, but I don't want you to leave. We're going to drop you into the back room again, onto the green room, and we're going to close off the show. And I want to talk to you a little bit before we go. All righty. Again, thank you very much. And I'll be with you in a minute. Well, everybody, like Adam said, I can't imagine the nuggets and the information that he shared with us tonight. And I tell you, the comparison and the combination between the business and personal, they're one and the same. They're connected. And the attitudes that go along with that, all of the necessary attitudes, so that you can put the willpower, the things that he talked about, and manage those things. That's what this is all about. Clear Journey is all about giving you the tools, the attitude, the mindset, so that you can navigate life more successful and be so very clear in your journey. You know, it's your journey, no one else's. It's all yours. And we want you to be able to know where you are, and so that you can have that journey very clear.
Yeah. Good
Oliver,
stuff, man. It was good
yeah,
stuff. Make sure you reach out, connect with Adam, go to the website, look him up on LinkedIn. He's got books, he's got a podcast, wealth of information, opportunity to work with somebody who can steer you in the right direction. Make sure that you get in contact with this good guy.
Oliver, let people know how they can contact and reach you, because
If
you're
you're
a good guy
social,
too.
hey, listen, I appreciate that. If you're a social media person, the handle is right there on the screen, right next to my name, Denali LLC, everywhere. Those of you who follow us, you know this. So this is going to be for those that are new. I am passionate about seeing relationships thrive, both personally and professionally. I am your go-to person. If you want to communicate on an extraordinary level, recognize, manage, and recover from conflict in record time. And on the personal side, build holistic, intimate bonds. On the professional side, team synergy, company wellness and the like. Author of the book Overcoming the Man Laws for the Man Who Wants to Be His Best Despite What He Was Taught. So, for those of you who are looking to thrive in every area of your life, as a speaker, author, and coach, that is we talked about purpose today, right? That's my purpose. That is my life's calling. That is where I find fulfillment in seeing you win. So let's have a conversation.
Okay. And by all means, everybody support, find Oliver and connect with him. Also, Clear Journey. If you want to know more about Clear Journey and what we have to offer, go over to clearjourney.org and see the areas of life that we support you in. There is no area in life that we don't have uh, suggestions and help in that area, tools and suggestions and how you can navigate that. And we're going to be redoing our website in the near future. So there's going to be more and more things that are going to be added to the website coming up. So go over there, register. And if you would like, we would like for you to support us. Go over there, give us a donation. We really appreciate it. We are a 501c3. It's a deduction on your taxes if you want to support us. So we really appreciate it. We look forward to you being a part of our community. We're going to have more opportunities, more webinars, more events that we're going to be all about supporting you in your journey. So if you would please be a part of Clear Journey, and we look forward to your partnership or your being a part of our community. With that being said, we're going to wrap this one up tonight. And as usual, we can't change your life, but we can surely help you navigate it. And so until next week, we'll see you here, and you have a wonderful evening.
Later.